Hello, welcome to Paradise Fibers. My name is Kyle, and today we're going to go over the setup for the Paradise Fibers Revolution spinning wheel. That is what is inside this box here. This particular box is the complete package, so if you do order the basic package, some of the parts won't be in here that I'm going to show you today, and I'll recognize those to you. If you are looking to buy a Revolution, you probably, if you're watching this, already bought one. Here's how to set it up. But if you want to buy one, make sure you get the complete package. A little bit more bang for your buck. It'll work out better in the long run. So let's start. We're going to open the box and see what's inside. This is a box that actually opens from the side. So the first thing you're going to want to do is lay it flat on its side. Do not open it from the top. You will cause a chaos. So make sure you can see there's a big line here. We're going to open it from the side of the box. The nice thing about the Revolution that I really enjoy as far as setup goes is there's absolutely zero tools required. Okay, so we're going to open this puppy up. And one of the first things you'll notice is our welcome note. This is just a little bit about the wheel. Dad here at the shop designed this wheel, and he's still working with me downstairs in the basement, and we're putting them together and building them. Another thing you will see taped to the side is this DVD that you're currently watching. So make sure you hang on to this. Okay, now inside it might not look absolutely 100% identical to this. We kind of put in different size pieces of foam everywhere just to prevent the wheel from sliding around. But on top you'll always find the mother of all. So the first thing we'll do is we'll pull this mother of all out. There's going to be foam wrapped around it. Right now I'm going to set this aside. We're going to come back to this later. Kind of pull out your loose pieces of foam here. Okay, so like I stated earlier, in the complete package you will have this box, which some of our foam's glued. It's okay. This is the Jumbo Flyer. We're also going to come back to this, show you how to put that on your wheel. Next we have smaller box. This is going to be your standard flyer. We're also going to put that on. Now here's something that if you can do this, and if you can set this up so that the box is on the ground and you can use the table, I would recommend that. And so I'm going to move the box out of the way here, but the first thing we're going to want to work on is our treadle assembly. So I'm going to try and slide this out of the way here. We'll get these treadles laid down on our table. Okay, we have two smaller boxes for our bobbins. So basic or complete, they both come with 3 standard bobbins. That's what the smaller boxes are for. Okay, here is the bag that you're going to look for. This is, other than taking your treadles out and getting those laid out, our Paradise Fibers muslin bag. This is what you're hunting for in this box. This is the first thing you want to get out. Make sure you have all the parts, all the pieces, because we're going to start using them right off the bat here. Okay, so we have our footman pivot arm, our footman connector, or footman rod. In one of these packages, you're going to have a big wooden knob. That is your upright knob. That's going to adjust your tension on your drive band. With that is a clear drive band. This clear drive band is for single drive only. It will not work in double drive, and you'll find that out if you accidentally try and use it. We're going to show you how to put this on as well. So with your locking knob is your standard drive band. You'll also have a bag with a reducing bearing for your standard flyer, your pivot, footman pivot arm peg, your orifice hook, and you'll see another drive band, another bag of drive bands. You will use all 3 of these drive bands. The hemp drive band is for your double drive, which is probably going to be the most common one you'll end up using. The other drive band, there's actually 3 in here. I'll show them to you once we put on the Jumbo Flyer. The other poly is for our Jumbo. So we mark it with a red piece of poly in there, so it's easy for you to see and recognize. That's going to be for our Jumbo. We use a jack shaft system, which is a little bit different, more unique than other wheels you'll see, and we'll get that installed and show you how to set that up as well. The last little bag that you'll find in here is going to be your Scotch tension kit. There's going to be a Scotch tension knob, 2 springs, a small hemp cord, and 3 little brass hooks. And those are going to go on your mother ball. We'll install those here in a little bit. So everything's in there that's supposed to be. We're going to set our goodie bag aside here, and we're going to start to install our wheel. The last thing inside the box, you will have the Lazy Kate, which is included. It's also got 3 brass eye hooks, 1 small hook, 3 rods, a tension knob, a spring, and some hemp cord. So this is actually a tension Lazy Kate. There's 3 holes here. Very easy to set up. Okay, last piece, most important of them all, is our flywheel. Isn't that beautiful? Alright, so let's set this up. First thing we're going to do is take off the knob on the back of our treadle. See a knob here, you're going to have to take that off. Okay. Now, as you're putting this on the wheel, as you're attaching the wheel to your treadle assembly, you want to make sure that the actual flywheel is on the outside of your treadles. If you try it this way, it will actually not connect because there's a little nipple down here, so you can't really do it that way, but you want to make sure that it's facing the correct way. Alright. Turn this way. So you kind of got to finesse it a little bit, but if you pick the bottom of the treadle up and turn the wheel sideways, whoops, I'm in the wrong hole there. Go to the top hole, and it slides in just like that. And you can let go at this point as long as this nut is sticking through the bottom of the support beam. This actually secures it. So we'll put that knob back on, and you want to get it nice and snug. You can see, I don't know if you can see in the video, but there's a little gap there. You want to eliminate all the light coming through that gap. So we'll get that nice and snug, and now it's connected. It's that easy. So next, let's connect our treadles to our pivot arm and our footman to the flywheel. So we're going to go to one of our bags, and we're going to get that little knob that I showed you earlier, which is this knob here, and we're going to get our pivot arm. And in the pivot arm, you'll notice that there's 2 pins in both sides. You're going to need to pop those out. And now there is no front or back to this. So this just slides in like so. Get those holes lined up. And you might wonder how this is staying in there. In the back of the support beam, at the very end of this hole, there is a very powerful magnet. So that's how it stays in. You probably won't hear an actual click on the magnet because we do like to get that nice and snug. But push that as far as you can. Do not hit it with a hammer. The last thing you want to do is, it's not flush with the wood, and we designed that for a purpose. So if it doesn't go flush, don't go grab a hammer and start pounding on it. You'll break a hole through the back of it. So we're going to take these pins that we took off the pivot arm, and those pop in to our footman to treadle connectors, which are these black things here. Just got to line up the holes, and those pop in. So those are connected. We will now put on our footman connector. So on the back of your wheel, you'll see a little rubber thing here. We're going to pop that off. The side that does not have the metal dowel goes up top. Or I'm sorry, the side that does not have the metal dowel goes on there. And these slide in there. You take your little rubber stopper and you put that back on, and that's never going to come off. One of the features of this wheel is we have 3 different spots that you can place your footman. What that's going to allow you to do is treadle at different depths. And like our pivot rod arm, this is also all held in by those high power magnets. And these ones you can actually hear a little click. I don't know if you could hear that, but those are the 3 different sizes. So if you like to do, actually we'll turn it this way, if you like to do a really long, deep treadle, you're going to want to put it the furthest away from your axle here. And that's going to give you a nice long treadle. If you want to do short, quick treadles, the closer you get, the shorter the treadles you have. And then you can do short, fast treadles, whatever is comfortable for you. You might find that certain scenarios you'll use different treadle depths. So now that we have our base assembled, our treadles assembled, the footman on, let's go ahead and put on our mother of all. For that, only thing we're going to need is our upright knob. There's a groove that's built into your support beam, and there's also a groove in your mother of all. It lines up so you don't have to worry about alignment at all. You just put that on. There's a screw here. You'll screw in your support knob. Get it nice and snug. You don't have to really tighten it down a lot, because we're going to come back and make an adjustment to that once we get our drive bands on. So we have 90% of the wheel together. Let's go ahead and put on our hooks that go onto our mother of all here. So there's 3 of them. 2 are for Scotch tension, and 1 is actually for your orifice hook. We have 2 different places you can store your orifice hook. They have, in all the Revolution wheels, you'll come with 3 pre-drilled holes. On the left side of the mother of all, there's 1 just behind the support. On the other side, I'll show you, there's 1 in the exact same spot, plus 1 up closer to the front of the orifice. So you're going to take these hooks, they're pre-drilled, so you can just screw them in by hand. And you'll screw 1 in there. You'll flip your wheel around. And you'll notice there's 1 here, and there's also 1 back here. So these first 2 that we're screwing in is going to be for our Scotch tension. The 1 up front by our orifice is just a convenient hook to store your orifice hook on. Which, let's just go ahead and, I like to put mine sideways. You can put it however you would like. But just so we don't lose it, you can either store your orifice hook right here. If you don't like that, you can stick it right onto the bottom. We do have Velcro there. Whatever you want to do. We'd like to give you some options there. So that hook has nothing to do with your Scotch tension. Don't worry about that. It's only for storing your orifice hook. If you don't want it, you don't have to put it in. Okay, so let's install our flyer. The smaller box that I showed you earlier, inside of that is going to be our standard flyer with whirl and bobbin on it already. And here is what it will look like. You will have a notice on here, and it's very important that you read this notice. Our whirls are actually screwed onto the shaft of our flyer, and they are not lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. It's the exact opposite. So if you want to take this off, you have to twist it to the right. If you start twisting it to the left as hard as you can, thinking this big muscular bearded man put it on too tight, you're going to break it. So make sure you read that notice. It is not lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. It is the exact opposite. So to put it on, I'm going to twist it to the left and just give it a nice snug little twist there. I'm actually going to pull this bobbin off so I don't rip this notice here. Alright, you notice that there's actually fiber on here. No, this is not a used wheel. Every wheel that we assemble before we put it in the box, we like to sit down and spin on it, make sure everything is working perfect before we ship it off to your house. All of our flyers come standard with the sliding hooks on it. You just pinch it and slide it. It's got oversized orifice, very smooth bobbins, and you might notice that some of these flyers, if you look at them this way, aren't perfectly symmetrical. There's some dents and some grooves in it. That's because we spend a lot of time perfectly hand balancing every single flyer that we make to your wheel. So first thing we're going to do, this is already done for you. Back here we have a pretty convenient lever. You might see them on bike seats. That flips up, and that's going to allow you to move to adjust from standard to jumbo without having to replace your entire mother of all. So all we're going to do is we're going to slide our flyer into this orifice here. We're going to bring this down. So very important thing to remember. You don't want to push this down until it bottoms out and then clamp it. You can see the flyer doesn't spin very well. That's because there's a lot of pressure on there. What you want to do, and this is the same with all wheels, you want to back this off just a little bit, maybe like a 1/16 of an inch, clamp it down, and it'll spin freely, it'll be quiet, you won't have any issues with noise. If you do not do that, it will be noisy, it will be very hard to treadle and hard to spin, so make sure you do give that a little bit of room. Alright, let's put on our drive band. And this is one of my favorite things to do on our wheel because it is so easy. You don't have to take anything off or remove anything from your wheel other than your footman. That pops off. We'll go up here to our whirl. Bring this down. Done. We just put it on our drive band that quick. Get it off, you do the same thing. You pop this off, pull it off the wheel. It's that quick, it's that easy. So now that we have our drive band on, let's go ahead and adjust the tension on the wheel. You saw that this does slide up and down. That's really loose, so we're going to loosen this knob. Slide that up, looks about right. Tighten it down, now we're good to go. And it's spinning great. So we're in single drive. Let's do our Scotch tension, we'll get that installed. So we'll go to our bag with our Scotch tension stuff in there. Here's our knob. This knob goes into this hole in the side of our mother of all. It is tapered, so the knob's cut off. There's a hole through here. That's where your knob's going to go. Just push it in until it's nice and snug, and then there's going to be some resistance, so you won't lose all your tension on your Scotch tension. So I've got my Scotch tension here. What we're going to do is start by threading the needle. You guys are probably much better at this than I am, but we have a hole drilled through the side of our knob here, so you're going to put your knob or your hemp cord through there, just tie a knot at the other side. I like to double knot it to make sure it never comes out. There we are. So check that before you move on there. Now we include 2 springs. So first spring we're going to do is from our knob to the first hook. We're going to try and get it dead center there. The second spring is actually going to be connected to the other hook on the other side. This is personal preference. You'll get the best results by having the 2 springs. If you only want to do 1 spring, you can. You don't have to do it this way, but we include 2 springs just to optimize our Scotch tension here. So what we're going to do is roll this up a little bit. We'll try and find, that looks about center right there. My wonderful assistant behind our video camera brought me some scissors. Pull this knob back out and we will connect it to our first string. You don't have to do a surgeon's knot. I just do 2 overhand knots, whatever is comfortable for you. All right. The other part of the string that we cut off, we are going to tie to the other side of our spring. A lot of S's. You can see that I'm not the best knot tyer in the world. That's okay. Alright, so we'll go ahead and put this knob back in. Get it nice and snug. We're going to run this through our first hook. Okay, so there is our first spring. Get our second spring. We're going to twist this around to get to the other side here. We are going to tie on to this. So you can see we got our spring measured over there. We turned it on the knob a couple times. You don't want to tie your spring at this end of your Scotch tension, because you're going to have to crank on this so much that that spring that we put on the other side is going to be wrapped around your knob. So since we started over there, all you got to do is kind of figure out where it's going to line up. So about there is pretty good. You're going to have, we provide you with extra slack. We don't cut them exactly to length, because you might be like me and not very good at tying knots, or you might cut it the wrong length. So we'll double knot this one over here. We'll cut off our extra strings. We don't need it. We will hook on to that. Make sure it is around our bobbin, and it is. Okay, so now our Scotch tension is set up. So with the two springs, it's going to get you a lot more consistent tension on your bobbin. If you want to do that, it's that easy. If you only want to do one, like I said, you can. That's just how we like to set it up here. So you are good to go. You are set up, ready for spinning in single drive mode. Now let's put on our jumbo flyer. Show you how quick and how easy that is. First thing we're going to do is we're going to pop off our drive band. Get rid of the get some slack here. We'll disconnect our footman rod, and you can leave that disconnected because we are going to have to put on a new drive band. Next thing we'll do, we'll take our standard flyer off. Set that aside. If you want to roll this up to get it out of the way, I highly recommend that so it doesn't get caught on anything else. Let's grab the jumbo flyer. Okay. This is a jumbo flyer. It is huge. I absolutely love it. So, all of our flyers, or jumbo flyers, come standard with the bobbin. We do have additional ones that you can purchase. I recommend that because if you spin as much as we do here, you're going to need some extra bobbins. So let's put this on. This is a feature that I really like on our wheel. I talked about it earlier. This slides back to accommodate the jumbo flyer size. You don't have to change out your entire mother ball. So first thing we're going to do is pop our jumbo flyer in, slide it down. Same idea with the standard flyer. It's going to bottom out on this rod. Back it up just a little bit so you can get that free play in there. We're going to go back to our sack of drive bands. Remember I talked about the red one we use for jumbo. You're going to open that. There's our standard one. Here's our red. Oh, there's a third one. That's weird. This is the one that's going to go on our jack shaft along with the one that's going to go around the flywheel. So first one I like to do is the flywheel because it's going to be closer. We are going to connect this to the whirl that has multiple ratios of the jack shaft. So red goes on the front, with the whirls that have different ratios. The smaller one goes around your bobbin and around the back of your jack shaft. Take our footman rod, pop it back in, and just like that easily, we are set up in bobbin lead jumbo. You can see the bobbins moving. It's because it is bobbin lead, the flyer is stationary. Now, wait, Kyle, I want to get some tension on here. How can I do that if my Scotch tension's not there? I don't know. We built this handy leather strap on the side. That comes up and over. It's got Velcro on there. We have Velcro on the side. That is the purpose of that Velcro, and the Velcro on the side of your front orifice. So now you can apply tension to your bobbin lead jumbo spinning while you're applying or doing art yarns or something like that. So that is how you would do jumbo mode on our wheel. So the last thing I'm going to show you folks is double drive. It's probably going to be the most common thing you're spinning with. It's also just as easy to set up as anything else we did. The last drive band that you will have left in your bag of goodies is this hemp drive band. As you've probably already noticed, all of the drive bands that we provide you with are already cut to length, so you don't have to worry about creating or cutting or joining any drive bands. They're good to go right out of the box. You can be spinning right away. So what's the first thing we're going to do? Take off our footman rod. Start from the back, work to the front. We'll take off our jack shaft drive band, our flywheel drive band, pop the lever, slide it back, pull out your jumbo flyer, which also comes standard with sliding hooks. We will take our standard flyer, we will put it back in. We do not need our Scotch tension, so I'm going to leave that tucked away. Clamp that down. It's got a little bit of wiggle room. You can see how much that's moved in the video. That's about how much you want. We are going to take our double drive band. If you've never ever done a double drive band, this might be your first wheel. And it wouldn't be the first. A lot of people buy the Revolution as their first wheel. If you don't know how, this is one gigantic loop. It's twisted into a figure eight, so you're going to have to put a twist in there and then bring it together. So now it looks like two drive bands, but really it's one jumbo drive band twisted into a figure eight. So whatever works best for you. I like to just go straight to my whirl. Loosen up the tension here. If you go straight to your whirl and then to your flywheel, you're going to take one of them, transfer it to your bobbin. You can see there's a lot of slack, so we're going to take that slack out, twist it down. Last step, put the footman rod back in. There you have it. You are set up in double drive, ready to go. Obviously we're going to take that off. Now, you want to do lace weight, sport weight, maybe worsted weight, just the standard thinner stuff. This reducing bearing just pops right in the front of the orifice. And if you want to get it out, you just go from the other end and pop it out with your finger. This is going to go right up in here. I can't see from this angle. There we go. It's a lot easier to do when you're looking directly at it, but that just pops in to there. And you're good to go. All right, this is the Paradise Fibers Revolution spinning wheel complete package. With that complete package, you get the Revolution spinning wheel, the standard flyer, 3 standard bobbins, the gigantic jumbo flyer with 1 jumbo bobbin, and the Lazy Kate. It's a great price point. It's a very well crafted wheel. We spend a lot of time here at our shop in Spokane working to make sure everything is perfect. We sit down on every wheel, make sure it spins, everything functions properly. hand balance flyers. It's just a great all around wheel. Last thing I'll show you on this wheel is actually something that a lot of our customers have recommended to us. They're foot straps. So if you look down on your treadles, all of them come with these very comfortable leather foot straps. You can put your feet in here. There is Velcro on the bottom that's adjustable, and I'll show you that, because along with that is our serial number. We give every wheel a serial number, so if you ever do have to reference that, that's where you will find your serial number. And here are adjustable foot straps. It makes treadling a little bit easier. You have more control over your treadle and how fast you're treadling. But that is the Paradise Fibers Revolution spinning wheel, out of the box, brand new, set up here in Spokane, made in Spokane for you wherever you may be. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy the wheel as much as we do. Thanks for coming. This is Kyle of Paradise Fibers signing off.